One of the most popular commodities at wide receiver on the free agency market is Desean Jackson. And obviously, this article on CBS Sports is depicting that there is interest from the Patriots and Cowboys. I don't believe they're the front runners in this, especially the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots need to upgrade the receiving core to a certain degree. It would be nice to have that speed there, which they definitely lack on that offensive side of the ball. But at the same time, he's asking for a lot of money, which I'll get to later. Now, obviously, I think the Cowboys is a little bit more realistic. Jerry Jones usually will get the player that he usually wants. That's just how it works. If he wants a player, he will go get him. That's who Jerry Jones is. And I think if he obviously goes there with Des Bryant, I think that could be very, very interesting. And I think they're definitely gonna take a look at him. They're definitely gonna make him offer, but the offer is pretty steep. And obviously, there's been other teams like the Eagles and the Buccaneers, but if you look right here in the middle, he's asking for between $10 to $12 million per year. A 30-year-old wide receiver who hasn't really been the same since 2010. I think 2010 was his best year in my opinion, but he's just kind of disappeared. He hasn't been the same. But I still think he's a very good wide receiver and can be. But I definitely look at the Buccaneers and Eagles as much more realistic, especially more realistic than the New England Patriots. I look at the Buccaneers, and I think they can use a lot of speed. I think if you put him in there right next to Jameis Winston, he could be the second or third target to Mike Williams. And obviously, depending on what they do with Vincent Jackson, I know they're going to be compete with Cameron Brate. And the idea about Desean Jackson, he's a much better pass catcher than you think he is. I think he could catch balls from definitely guys who lob passes to laser throwers. So anywhere from like the Eli Mannings of the world to the Tom Brady's of the world. He can basically catch from any type of performance to throw. And I think with Jameis Winston, who's mostly a laser passer, I think he would fit very nicely. And obviously, Desean Jackson played with a very good laser passer in Mike Vick. Now, obviously, the Eagles could be very interesting. And I definitely think Desean Jackson definitely liked it in Philadelphia. If you remember what happened to him, it was basically because Chip Kelly wanted to get rid of him. And obviously, that's Chip Kelly. Obviously, took a lot of respectable flack for that. And I think it was something due to possible potential being related to a gang. I don't know, something. It was just a rumor. But I definitely think a reunion with Philadelphia and with Doug Peterson, who used to be one of Andy Reid's guys in Philadelphia. So I think it could be very good. But I definitely look at it, and I know the Redskins are still a factor in there because he's obviously familiar with them. But Desean Jackson's a guy that can really go anywhere. He's not too much of this guy who believes in. He's not too much of a nationalist when it comes to his teams. He's not going to be ultra biased to one team to the other. He's going to play pretty fairly, knowing his personality. So overall, when I look at Desean Jackson, I definitely think he could maybe get close or fairly close to his 2010 days, but at the same time, though, he's not the stale electric wide receiver, and he's definitely not worth 10 to 12 million per year. It's just because the market isn't too great for wide receivers right now. Just him and Alshon Jeffrey are the two ones I can think on top of my head right now.